So good. Love her. Okay. All right. So, do you want me to intro then?
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of what is it? Of Two Broads. I forgot the name of her. Literally was like, wait, what?
It's been a minute for Kayla.
Yes. Okay. Welcome back to another episode with Two Broads. God damn it. Of Two Broads.
Take three.
Okay. Welcome back to Welcome back to a new episode. I can't. Okay. I got it. Okay, 4 times a charm. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Two Broads with your two favorite broads,
Jenna?
and Kayla. And today it's we're just going to be talking, and we usually, we do have a structure somewhat, but I thought it would be a lot of fun to just kind of create a podcast that's literally we just choose a topic and just talk about it and kind of ramble, not necessarily a rant or anything, but today's topic is kind of fun. I'd like to think so. We're going to be talking about dreams, guys, and
I love this topic so much.
I think it's going to be a really good one. And if you're on our YouTube, you can see that our backgrounds are pretty on the same page.
Yeah,
I was thinking of a word to say after that and it left. So
it left.
There we go.
The backgrounds are definitely on theme. We'll just say that.
Yeah. And I mean, those who can't see, I feel like I picked a pretty good one.
Yeah, Kayla's is very cute. So I'm over here with this like stinking Aztec bed cloud situation, like very dream.
It's like
go ahead.
The higher type of sleeping.
Yes, exactly. It kind of reminds me. Do you play Animal Crossing?
I used to.
Okay. So for those of you who play Animal Crossing, when you like build a bed and you can get your character to dream and they're in that like purple cloud floaty space and then they can like do stuff in their dreams. No? Okay. For those of you who listen, yeah, that's kind of what my background looks like. But Kayla's is definitely a little bit more, I don't know how you'd say it, a little bit more media centric.
Yeah. So when I was kind of struggling, and then I was like, wait a second. So I chose the good old Sleeping Beauty. There's like the 3 fairies. I'm blocking one of them, but who cares? And she's sleeping, but it's fine. I don't know if she was dreaming during this sequence of the movie. She might have been, which is interesting because when you're in such a deep sleep that you wake up not knowing if you dreamt or not, like it's like you close your like you just blinked and you're awake. And dreaming is so bizarre to me. And I've written a few things down, and Jenna has too. Like we have our own separate confidential notes that we haven't shared yet. But basically, like I wanted to ask, like what do you think dreams are? Like you could basically say a conspiracy, like literally anything, a theory of yours, like what dreams are, but like what do you personally think it? You can give me science, fact, or imaginary things. I don't really care. Tell us.
I love this so much. And I also love that the literal title of this podcast is What the Fuck Are Dreams? And that's just what we're opening with. Yeah. Have you seen the new Doctor Strange?
Yes.
Okay. So that is kind of, I think, like the coolest concept of dreams that I've seen in a minute, at least like in the media. For those of you who haven't seen it, spoiler alert, skip ahead. Or honestly, it came out a while ago. This is your own fault.
You should be on the trend. Yeah.
Definitely. You should know what's going on by now. But basically, like in the movie, the dreams are like different versions of yourself. Like you're seeing a glimpse into alternate versions of yourself. And I just love the concept of like having different realities and different versions of yourself anyway. So that's kind of the theory that I like the best. But what is your nose thought?
Okay, also those who can't see us yet again, Jenna and I have this thing. Jenna started it. This is for sure her thing, and then I do it because I live with her. So she puts her finger on her nose so she doesn't forget, and it works. So 10/10 recommend. I was just doing that right now. But it's funny that you say that because that's literally what I wrote in my notes. To answer that question, because I was like, okay, like what do I think? Like what is my thought process? Because I was literally like, the multiverse, we're like, especially with dreams too, I was like trying to think about it, and really like you could be dreaming of like yourself but like in the multiverse, and it's like that
Mm-hmm.
could literally be what's going on in that dimension, which you can believe in the multiverse. It's kind of like fun for me, so but it's
Big
an
Marvel
interesting
fan over here.
concept. Right, we love. So but like continue what you were saying. I just wanted to add that because I thought it was funny that you brought that up.
No, I mean, I think it's super relevant. I think it kind of like sparked a lot of conversation about that. And like a part of me is like, yes, that's super fun to think about. I don't know if I'm like a diehard believer of it, just because I have had dreams where they're so similar to like my current reality. Like it's not like I'm like out here running through like a jelly bean forest and it's just like
Mm-hmm.
complete different dimension, nothing's the
Mm-hmm.
same. But yeah, I don't know if I'm like fully sold, but the other concept of dreams that I've seen in media that I really like, and it's really dumb, but you've watched Inside Out.
Yeah, I've watched it a couple of times.
I love the idea that there are just like little people running around in my head being like, "Oh, in this dream we got to cast these actors and look
Yes,
and
like it's a
and then
movie. Like they're
yes,
literally talent actors in your head, like trying to put on a performance. May I just add though,
literally.
if that was legit, I have some very big concerns for the
Oh,
people that are building my dreams. And we'll get to that like after this, and we'll bring that up about what kind of dreams we have and all that and our strangest dreams. But I would really like to talk to the people. If you have their phone number, let me know
on,
because
honestly, I think that would be like the most fun job ever. Like, okay, going back to our last podcast a little bit, like talking about like when you die, we didn't really talk about like what we think happens after you die, but
oh, facts, yeah.
how fun would it be that like I'm dead, gone, ghost, angel, whatever you want to call it, spirit. And they're like, hey, you can't just sit around here and float and do nothing. You got to get a job.
You
Like,
gotta work.
you
Imagine
gotta work.
that.
I I literally want my job to be that like I'm in Kayla's head or in like my boyfriend's, that like I'm just controlling my loved one's dreams and just like making little plot lines and stuff. I think that would be so freaking fun.
It would, but the fact that you literally said that the afterlife is requiring a job, I hate that because I literally said in the last podcast the reason why I didn't want to, a spoiler alert, live forever when you asked me that question is because work, all that stuff. And it's like the afterlife, you're done with that. Cool. I would like a eternal vacation. Thank you. And the fact that you just said that, I'm like,
I
is
just
there a
like,
difference?
you know, I think that like I would be okay with it as long as like the jobs were like I just want to be helpful and contribute and just like a spiritual fun magic powers way, like how fun would it be if they're like, oh, okay, your job, like go help with the weather, go make the lightning, go like
Oh,
I just
okay,
want to do
okay.
little fun things. Oh,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
plant
yeah.
the flowers, go make more bees. Like,
Right, right.
you know
Go make more bees. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I got you. That's actually funny though, because imagine that. But that I feel like the whole concept of Inside Out, I don't know, it's so unique.
I do remember talking through like memories and dreams. I absolutely remember like the scariest dream, like the first like night terror nightmare that I had when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I tell people what it is now, it's fucking hilarious because only like a little kid would be like, that's so scary. And I don't know where it came from, but if it's metaverse related, I don't want to go there.
Okay. Are you gonna spill the
Do you,
tea?
do you want to hear it?
Yes, I
Okay, I
do.
honestly think you already have because we live together and
Oh,
you might know this story.
okay.
But for those of you listening, here's the dream, right? So picture this. Jenna is like, we'll say like 6, maybe 7. Okay. Like just at the age where it's like you definitely don't sleep in your parents' bed all the time, but like you still could if you're terrified and it's not weird.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like right
Mm-hmm.
on that cusp. So in this dream, right? I'm dreaming and I wake up in my dream and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had the scariest dream. So it's like dream within a dream, right? So I'm
Love
waking
those.
up, love them. I hate them actually, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so scared. Like I'm gonna go sleep with my parents. Like I'm gonna go sleep in their bed, be safe, not deal with my own shit. So in this dream, I'm walking through my house. My house looks exactly like my normal house. There's nothing out of place. The walls aren't upside down. There's no missing paint colors. Exactly like my house. It's dark. I'm like feeling the furniture, fumbling to their room. I get to their, room. I open the door. I crawl into their bed. And then instead of hearing like your parents like breathing because they're asleep or like normal sleeping, snoring noises, I just hear like animal growling noises. And long story short, I look over and both my parents are like Black Panthers.
I don't think I've ever heard of this story before. I'm a little confused.
They're not humans. They're two big Black Panthers that I just crawled in between. It was like, Mom and Dad, protect me. And then I get up and I'm running around my house trying not to get eaten by Black Panthers. And then I woke up and I did not want to go sleep in my parents' bed because obviously my brain told me that was a stupid idea. But I remember that so vividly as like the first like nightmare I ever had. And like thinking about it now, not that scary. In the moment, terrified.
No, because I have a scary, I mean, I feel like my scary dream compared to that is actually a little scary. I remember like my first nightmare, and even now I feel like I have a lot of nightmares, but I wouldn't consider them nightmares now. I'm just like, I just had a bad dream. Like it was kind of creepy, but like it was it was like normal. But
so
I
what is
had
like, before you go on, what is like your
Yeah.
difference between like bad dream and nightmare? Like, is it the level of terror or is it like what's the
I feel
difference?
like it because the thing is like with nightmares, I don't know. I feel like a nightmare really has to like jolt me awake, and I'm like, oh my god, that was terrifying in some way. Like I have, like I mean, the fact that I can remember like these dreams that give me these feelings, and just because they feel so realistic, and like I want to talk about that too after this, like how realistic dreams can be, and that's like good or bad, but these dreams feel so real to me that I like can still see them now.
Yeah.
And I call them like sometimes anxiety dreams because I feel like that, like especially if I'm like very anxious that day or like stressed out, like I will typically have dreams that kind of like wake me up, and it could be as dumb as literally like I thought I was late for school, but it's 2 a.m. when I woke up. But like nightmares to me, I just feel like are just genuinely terrifying that like you don't want to go back to sleep. Because a bad dream to me is like, oh, that was just a bad dream. Like, whatever, I'm tired. Like, I'm over it. But I had a dream when I was, oh God, how old? I moved into my second house. So I think I was 7 years old.
Okay.
And which is a long time ago for me.
Yeah.
Good old 2007. So I had a dream. It was the first night I moved into that second house. So first night. And it's
Talk about anxiety though. Like big change, makes sense.
100%. And it's like, think about sleepovers, first time sleepovers. You don't know that area, the house, that room. It's a little uncomfy at first, unless you've been to that house multiple times, maybe. But even moving into the dorms and apartments on campus, it's kind of weird on the first night because it's brand new. So that's kind of, I feel like, what sparked my nightmare. And I had a dream that I was in the same exact room, same exact setup. It was empty. My sister and I were sleeping in the same room. We literally were sleeping on our mattresses on the floor because our bunk bed wasn't built or anything. Like we literally just moved in. And I'm sleeping on the floor. I'm having my dream. And like I said, same exact scenery. Like everything's the same. It's like I just opened up my eyes and there are these creatures that are in my bedroom that were terrifying. I can still see them now. And it was almost like they were made of Play-Doh in a way.
Oh no.
And they had, think about that scene in Monsters Inc. You know, when that guy, when what's that called? Randall, like uses that suction thingy on him.
Yeah.
And his lips get so big. Think about like those big lips, but in just a very like oval shape. And it's like I said, just think of like Play-Doh consistency. And there's like uh thread, like sewing thread, like around the mouth. So the mouth is like halfway open and their mouths are sewn. And it's going in and out of those like big oval
Okay.
lips. And they're just like walking around and even their eyes are shut and like sewn. And keep in mind, I'm 7, so I
Yeah.
didn't watch horror movies or anything like that yet because I was so young, and it was terrifying to me, and I woke up, like, in a panic because it was just so vivid and scary, and I could not sleep for the rest of I was so scared, and even then in that house, like, I've had, like, stuff happen, and you guys will hear that in our paranormal podcast that we recorded, like, over a
Oh,
year
yeah, yeah,
ago,
yeah.
but it might have contributed to that. So it could also be like what energy is around you that could almost like infiltrate your dreams,
Okay, I like
you know?
that. Yeah.
So, and when people do like, what is it, like astral projecting?
Like lucid dreaming?
Yeah. And
Okay.
and people are able, I feel like people are able to almost like latch onto your dream in a way. If that's even a thing, I've
Okay.
never like really
Let's
done it.
let's like pause and talk about those because in my head, I don't know if lucid dreaming and astral projection are the same thing. Sorry guys, we didn't Google it.
Sorry.
There's someone listening right now that's like, you're stupid. They're not the same.
You guys, right,
Um,
like you guys are literally dumb. Thanks.
exactly. So I've heard the term like astral projection literally only once in like the movie series
Oh,
Insidious. And that's like my entire basis of that. So it's like the little boy in the
okay.
movie astral projects
Yeah.
out of his body and like wanders into the spirit realm. And then, like, yes,
Mhm.
stuff latches to him and comes back.
Mhm.
So that I get. But I've also like, you hear about lucid dreaming, and that's like, I can control my dreams. I'm in control
Mhm.
of what happens. I can like make stuff move and I can walk everywhere and do things. Like, are
Yeah.
they connected at all?
Um, I feel like in a way, for me, the difference, like even with you just explaining the way that you did, to me, lucid dreaming is you have no control of where you're going in your dreams, which is different than astral projecting.
Hmm.
And you have no control of where you're going. You're just in that dream, but at some point in the dream, you recognize that it's a
Okay.
dream and you're able to be like, "Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay, I'm gonna actually like go this way because that guy looks a little creepy. So I'm actually gonna be smart in this dream and run, like literally, like actually being able to run, not the kind of dreaming run where you're walking in
Yeah.
slow-mo, like
Yeah.
times 10. So I feel like that's what lucid dreaming is, and then astral projecting is like you are putting yourself in a space, almost like a meditation in a way, and
Okay.
going into that very like meditating peace mode where you're able to drift off into a sleep, but are still aware of what's going on, and your sole focus is to end up in the specific realm that
Huh.
you're targeting, and you're able to put yourself in there once you actually kind of start dreaming or projecting. So that's
Interesting.
what I feel like the difference is one is you're dreaming and then you suddenly become aware of it and then you're able to control it, and the other one is you're already in control since the beginning before you sleep because
Okay.
your goal is to get to a certain
Yeah.
place and do certain things and whatever.
Got it.
So,
Okay. I think that makes sense. I think that so before we dive into like having control of your dreams, let's jump into like the ones that like you don't control, like they just like happen to you.
mhm.
When you dream, like what like point of view do you dream in? Like is it and I think the only time I've talked about this, everyone's looked at me like I literally have a third eye, not like a spiritual one, but just like a cyclops scary one. Um
Not a
but
cute one.
not a cute one. Because when I dream or like if I'm having a dream, sometimes it's like first person for sure, like I'm seeing things through my own eyes, but
Yeah.
other times it's like I'm watching myself in a movie.
Yes, like a third person point of
Yes.
view. I've
Yes.
I feel like those are rare. Like I typically do have, your normal POV, but I feel like there have been a couple times where it almost looks like I'm spying on myself, which is
Yes.
kind of scary when you think about it.
Yes.
And that's why I was bringing up, like, I feel like people can almost latch into your dreams. And it's really scary because, like, what if it's like, it's like you end up like hijacking their mind on accident and you almost switch perspectives or end up like kind of climbing into inside their brain and seeing what they're seeing. And it's like someone's in your mind spying on you that whole time. And so
And you just like
personally,
jumped characters.
yes, like on accident, totally unintentional. You just accidentally did that. And they
Wait, I
probably don't
literally
even
just got goosebumps. I kind of
no,
hate
that's
that.
why that's why I was like kind of like rambling for a second because I kind of scared myself. But I feel like that would be
Honestly,
the reason for a third point of view.
okay, honestly, that makes so much fucking sense. Like, I go back and like the only way I've rationalized it is like, oh, I'm like watching the movie people and they're letting me go behind the scenes of my like movie brain from like Inside Out, you know, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I've never gone like creepy with it. And I think it's because like honestly, if you divide it up, like I have more third person dreams than first person. And there's
yeah.
sometimes in the dream, like it doesn't stay that one point of view consistently. Like I can
Guys, she's being
be,
watched.
but could you imagine like if I'm having a dream first person and then like I switch to third person watching myself and then go back to first person? Like that's that spy in my head being like, oh shit, and kicking me out.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
kind
don't
of
like
hate
that.
that. I don't
Yeah,
like that.
maybe I kind of regret saying that, but that's the first thing that popped into my head because I was like, wait a second. And like I said, we are taking this as seriously as possible, but like having fun with it. But I'm stretching my my thought process right now
Yeah.
because I'm not trying to be so well scientifically. Like I don't
Yeah.
care about that BS. So
We're
that's
very
very
spiritual girlies here, okay?
oh yeah. So it's very interesting that you say that because that's kind of scary to think about. And
It's
that
really
could be,
scary.
I don't know, I feel like dreams are just something that like science can't get behind. Like you can tell me why we dream, but it's I don't know. Like the question is like why am I able to have like full blown storylines when my
Mhm.
eyes are closed and I'm supposed to be like turned off for the night,
Yeah.
like powered off. I didn't mean to say turned off. That was like really weird wording. But like powered off for the night. Nothing's going on
Yeah.
in my brain. We're just sleeping. But with that, like how like do you get super realistic dreams where you because I know some people are like, well, I don't really like if I'm there like I don't really feel like the water or whatever or the
Okay.
sunshine or like how realistic are your dreams because I feel like mine gets so real that there's been times where I've almost mixed my memories with my dreams,
Mhm.
especially when something seems like it's the normal kind of dream, like not the whack dreams that I have that you guys will hear about, but it feels like kind of just like a normal everyday thing
Yeah.
and I'm like, did like I'll think about it even a week later and I'm like, oh yeah, like we did that like last week. And it's like, no, you dreamt that. Like we never even did that.
See, here's my thing. I think I would have the same problem as you if I didn't switch to third person so often
Mm,
because that's my thing. It's like, oh, that didn't actually happen to me. Like that was like a dream movie. Haha. Cause like I
yeah.
remember watching myself walk across the street. But in like question back to you, honestly, Kayla, is when you remember your dreams, do you remember the whole thing or are there like bits and pieces that are gone? Because I've definitely woken up and I'm like trying to tell Christian, like, oh my God, I had the weirdest dream. Like I
Mm-hmm.
started doing this and then I was doing this. And then I don't know what happened in the middle, but then I went here. And again, going back to your like someone spying on my head, because I really like that theory. Well, I don't like
Yeah.
it, but like kind of cool to think about. Um, like, could you imagine like if this person is like, oh shit, they caught me. I gotta like erase some
Mm,
stuff.
like zap like your memory, like the guys
Yeah.
from what is it? What is it the
Men in
Matrix?
Black.
Or Men in Black,
Oh,
the Matrix. No, you're right. You're
okay.
I'm an idiot. You
I
are right.
literally,
I'm
I
not a film
literally
major or anything.
I wouldn't have known because I've only seen one Matrix movie and it was literally the first one. So I would have believed you
But
if
the
you just
Zappy guy, you know what I'm talking
yeah, yeah, the Zappy guy in the
yeah.
BB. Yeah, for sure.
That's them. That's them.
I'm
And
saying I don't,
they try to erase the bits and pieces so that way you're not actually able to connect like how did I get here?
Mhm.
Like where does the dream start? And going back to the multiverse theory and the dimensions which is so complicated, by the way. And I almost get like deja vu
Oh,
when
all the time.
to fill the bits and pieces,
Oh.
especially if I know I dreamt of something and I'm like, okay, I remember I was at a park and like some guy tripped or whatever and I helped him up and then somehow I ended up at my house. I have no idea. I'll be doing something like throughout that day, even like a touch, a shiver, like a drink, like a feeling, and I'm like, oh my God, like that's what happened. Like I remember, which is so odd. And that's why I was saying like sometimes they're so realistic that I mix them in with my memories because why am I having like a deja vu feeling about my dreams? Unless like it's real and my multiverse me is like, we're all connected some way.
Maybe. See, I get your like random deja vu things. I know we definitely talked about those, but I don't get them in the sense of like, oh, like that was connected in that one dream. Like it doesn't come in and like fill in the blanks. Like I'll just get deja vu things like, no, I've literally done this. Like this has happened. I have done this, but I couldn't tell you like what came before or after it. Like I just know that like in the moment,
like the key points.
This happened. And like so like they'll come in like, oh, like that was such a weird like thought or daydream that I just had. And like I can make note of it. And then literally months later, I'm like, look, 6 months ago, I said this and you just did that. But
so like a prediction.
Yeah, kind
of. Yeah.
Like daydreams are forward in my head. But they're never like, oh, I was sleeping last night and I thought about Kayla wearing a black t-shirt on a podcast. And now here you are, wearing a black t-shirt on the podcast. Like it doesn't happen when I'm asleep. So I can't like confirm with you there. But going back to just like how realistic dreams are, again, I'm going to use percentages here. I think 90% of my dreams are reality based. Like I'm not dreaming I'm in Candyland. I'm not here or in Tangled or Sleeping Beauty. Like no, like I am in like
real
life, our universe. Like no one breathes water. Like it's all pretty similar. I think really go ahead.
I was gonna say I think I'm like the same way. Like I feel like it's kind of once in a blue moon. Yeah.
I think most people are. I haven't really like met a human that's like, oh yeah, most of the time in my dream, I'm in like the clouds or like I'm on an island or
with an alien. Yeah, exactly. Like maybe an alien will like pop up in my dream, but like, like the random
but like you're not like on Jupiter.
Part. Yeah. No, those are kind of outlandish for me. I'm too adult for that.
Oh,
I'm too
my
grown.
Lord.
No, I'm kidding. Maybe I'm just not that creative.
But talking about, again, just like realistic dreams, that's kind of, again, like why I go back to like my Inside Out movie people is like, oh, like they're just trying to recreate the real life set. And like, they just get a couple of things wrong. Like a wall is slightly too small than it normally is, or a door is in the wrong side of the room, or, you know what I mean? So those I get a ton. And those are normally my giveaways. Like when I'm dreaming that like, oh, I'm a dream. I'm in a dream right now. And like, I know what's going on.
Well, I was going to say, it's kind of like, because when I explain my dreams, I'll be like, oh, we're like, it was in my house, but it wasn't my house, but it was my house.
Yeah.
And that's that same concept because it was my apartment. Like I knew it was my apartment and I didn't feel off about it because that was my home. But comparing to
like
reality,
someone put it together wrong.
Yeah. Like they built the set wrong, couldn't make the deadline. They missed a couple pieces, whatever.
Budget cuts,
Yeah, budget cuts. I totally understand. Like limited hands, short staff. We get it. But it kind of, again, goes back to the multiverse because it's like, what if that was actually my apartment in a different universe?
Okay, see, maybe. And I'll tell you about a recent dream I had that kind of like combines a lot of the points we've just brought up. But I was telling Christian, we were talking about it like way before I actually had this dream. And he was like, do you like know you're dreaming? Like when you're in a dream? I'm like, oh, well, like I might not start out knowing that, but most dreams by the end, I'm like, oh, duh, this is a fucking dream. No wonder this shit's awful.
Right, yeah.
So it's like someone's giving me the script and I'm like automatically following the script for most of it. But the second that I'm like, that wall is not purple, I'm like, oh, it's because this is a dream. Duh. But
Like, you
normally,
know
like,
it.
exactly. But I don't stay in my dreams like for a while once I hit that point. Like normally by then I'm
Okay.
waking up. But the one dream that I told him that I was like, my movie guys actually, like, they almost had me, right? Like almost had me convinced the entire thing. It was actually really fucking scary. And it wasn't, the dream itself wasn't like scary, but it's just like what happened once. I'll just tell you. So, and it's stupid. Okay. So mind you, especially those who went to high school with me, shut the fuck up. If you're listening to this, do not make fun of me. I didn't control it. I didn't write the script. So okay, I'm in my dream and it's taking place here where I live now, Kayla, like this room, this setup, this whole thing.
Okay, bet.
And the only thing that was different was that like our bed wasn't down there, like over there. It was up here by the windows. Kayla's been in my house and that's why I can say this. But that's not something that I was like, oh, this is a dream. I'm like, oh, Christian just moved the furniture bad and I'm gonna have to move it back. Like that.
Christian, you messed up.
Sorry, babe. But that's literally like all that I was thinking. It was like, oh, like we moved the furniture. I don't like this. I'll put it back. But I go to bed that night and whatever, totally fine. And then I'm waking up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm late. I'm late. Like I woke up late. And Christian's like, what do you mean? Like, what are you late for? I was like, I have finals today. Like I literally have finals. Like I have my PE final. I have a chem final, like at my high school that's down the street is what I was thinking. I was like, I literally have finals. Oh my God. Like I'm going to fail. Like I cannot do this. Like I'm not going to graduate. And I'm getting up and I'm getting dressed and I'm rushing and I'm rushing and I'm rushing. And like, I'm so panicked in my dream, right? Like full feelings, full sweat. So when you talk about like, how realistic are they? Like I was feeling my clothes, I was putting them on, I was sweating, I was breathing hard, I was running, like trying to like get out the door, scrambling, putting on makeup, trying to do whatever. And Christian's just like, oh, you're okay, you're not gonna fail, calm down, it's okay, it's okay. I was like, no, you don't understand, like this is a big deal. And it's like, I remember the second I'm like putting my backpack over my shoulder and I'm like about to touch the doorknob to leave, to walk out the door, something in my brain was just like, you're not in fucking high school.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? And then I literally remember like reaching for the handle and I stop and I look up at the door and Christian's still in bed, like watching me run around. And I just kind of like recoil back and I look at him and I go, we're not in high school. Where am I going? And he just looks at me and it's like his whole demeanor changed. And he was like, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Just come back to bed. Just come back to bed. I don't think you're feeling well. Just come back to bed. And I was like, no, we're not.
Boys, we've been caught.
Literally. And so I was like, no, we're not in high school. Like, where was I going? Like, what am I talking about? What were you just telling me? Like, like, what just happened? And I was so panicked and so like freaked out. I remember him going, it's fine. Just come back to bed. Like very, like, it was like, oh, it's fine. I was like, no, it's fine. Come back to bed. And I remember just being so scared. And then I woke up and it was like 3 a.m, completely dark. Christian's asleep next to me. The room was back where it's supposed to be. And I was like, what the fuck was that? Like it went from being like, oh, duh, this is a dream to being like
scary.
Something is wrong. Yeah. Like something is wrong. Like this isn't like,
I don't like that.
I didn't get the, I don't like oh, I'm dreaming. Oh no, I don't like it either. But I got like this is not okay feeling. And I told Christian.
Okay.
So I told Christian and I was like, I woke up terrified, not because I was late for finals, but because of the way you acted towards me.
You were being freaking weird.
Yes. I was like, I was scared. And at that point, like, because of how real it felt while I was like rushing to get out the door, like, I didn't know if I was like awake when I woke up at 3 a.m. I was like, am I about to wake up Christian to be like, I had a bad dream and he's like an axe murderer gonna come get me again?
Right,
like,
yeah.
I didn't know if I was up or not. So I did not go back to bed that night. Like I was just up, but
no, that's terrifying. And I don't know. I feel like everything we're bringing up keeps coming back like full circle, but it comes back to my third person point of view theory where someone is in your dream and it's okay. This is like, I don't want to scare you. This guy.
I have to live up here,
So
Kayla.
I'm sorry, but it just makes me think, like, if we're taking this to like a darker level, it makes me think about like demons
Mm-hmm.
and like entities, because when like this is what scares me the most. It's not that, like, the Annabelle doll is moving, is that the demon is acting like a freaking ventriloquist with the Annabelle
Mm-hmm.
doll. Like there's
Yeah.
a bigger entity just kind of just dee 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 dee, like puppeteering.
Mm-hmm.
And that scares me more because you're looking at that doll, but it's like they're not in that doll. That doll's not
Yeah.
living. Like there's like kind of just like look up and it's there. You don't see it, but
Mm-hmm.
like don't look at the thing on the floor. Like move your
Yeah.
eyes up a little bit. And like when you said that, that kind of scared me because it's like like he was kind of being like taken over in a way, and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that like his demeanor changed is just so freaky, because then he's kind of like the dream Christian is like, okay, she's kind of catching on,
Yeah.
you need to come here, like come to
Yeah.
bed, like you're done,
Yeah.
you know. And it just like, and it's not even, I don't know, the fact that it was a kind of a negative change is so unsettling to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that because I've had dreams where I know I'm dreaming, but I feel like I've never had it to that extent where like someone is like you're the one to notice, and
Yeah.
you realize that like the
Like I wasn't
like
the
people around you
only
are
other
changing.
one aware.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they know. And
Mm-hmm.
like my dreams, because I was actually going to bring that up before you did, is like, do you know that you're like, do you tell yourself you're dreaming or anything like that? Because I've had dreams, again, to kind of a nicer side of things, where I'm just
Okay,
like,
good.
oh, I'm dreaming, and I've had people in my dreams like come up to me and say something so bizarre that makes me realize I'm dreaming. Like
Mm.
I had a dream, like I think it was last month, maybe was the last time, and I was talking to my sister. Also, my neighbor is like trying to get into his apartment, and he's like playing really loud like mariachi music.
Oh,
And I was like,
you
wait,
know what
I
I
was
was
like, hang on, like
expecting you to say.
I was just trying to pause because I'm like, I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, he went inside his apartment. I was like, damn, that was pretty loud.
Sir?
Yeah, I was
Um,
like, are you okay? Anyways, we're back. I've had people say really bizarre things to me that trigger the whole like understanding of what a dream is,
mhm.
because then I become aware. Like they'll say something so out there, and I'll just be like, oh, it's a dream. And I've
Yep.
had that happen so many times. And it's not that afterwards I start controlling my dream or whatever, but then I just start like literally not giving enough because it's a dream. Like none of this is real.
Okay, yes.
So
Yep.
that's like the kind that I have, but I've never had anything as
I don't recommend
eerie
it.
as that. I'm
Yeah,
not a
definitely.
fan.
Me neither. Don't recommend.
I
Yeah,
don't
I know
either.
what you're saying though, where it's like you're dreaming, but like literally
Mhm.
I don't care. Like I'm still gonna read the script and just enjoy it, kind of.
Yeah.
I've had those too, but whenever I'm like reading the script, it's like they take like the last 4 pages and only let me finish out like this one scene and then they wake me up. Um,
Yeah.
but but I know what you mean. I had a dream like that recently where I literally had a dream that I was pregnant. Mom, I'm not. Chill, chill, breathe.
Oh my god, I
Um,
wrote that down too, because I've had dreams
fun.
like that. Okay.
Fun.
And
Well,
not
this
fun.
one I wasn't.
Not
Oh
fun.
no. Oh, sorry.
No.
No, this one I wasn't like I looked down and I have a belly. Like it wasn't like that. It was I was at somebody's house. Don't know who it was, but like I had the feeling it
Mhm.
was like family, like I was at a family's house.
Yeah.
Um
Familiar.
and familiar, comfortable. Like I didn't know the
Yeah.
people sitting on the couch, but I was like, "Oh, they're my cousins or something. It's
Yeah, yeah,
fine."
yeah.
Um and I just remember like going to the bathroom there and getting ready, whatever, took a shower, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna go on a walk. Like I'm gonna go on a hot girl summer walk or something.
Right.
And so I'm on this walk and I'm walking and I don't know really where I'm going, but I know I'm walking. And then my phone rings and I pick it up and it's someone who I don't know who it is, my mom, an aunt, somebody's like, oh my God, Jen, are you pregnant? And I was like, what? No, like, I don't know. They're like,
Yeah.
we found a pregnancy test in the trash. Like, you were just in the bathroom, like, come home right now. And I was like, fam, I'm not pregnant though. Like, what are
Yeah.
you talking
Who
about?
told you that?
And I get there and they're like yelling at me. And at some point I was like, this isn't, oh, this is a dream. Okay, cool. And I
Mm.
like played along with it, whatever. And then like that dream ended and I can't remember why. But then I woke up again into another dream. I have lots of like combined dreams a lot of the time.
Mhm.
And I wake up and I was like, oh shit, I was pregnant in that dream. Do we think that's like a sign? Like I should like take a test, like just in
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
And so I took a test in dream number 2, and then I was pregnant. And I was like, oh
Oh my
shit,
God, you
this is
predicted it.
scary. And so I'm
Yeah.
calling Taya, I'm calling my mom. I'm like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. Oh my God, I had a dream and I'm pregnant. What the fuck? And whatever. And then I woke up actually in my bed on a Saturday morning at like 10 in the morning. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh. And I was like, we are not channeling that energy at all. We
No,
are not
we're
going to
not.
feed into
She's
that even a
canceled.
little bit.
No, thank you.
No thanks. But yeah, so I've never had a dream where I was like, oh, here's my belly, I'm pregnant. I have had a dream where I'm already a mom and had kids. And I've had a dream where I find out I'm pregnant, but not like the in-between stages.
See, had um I've had a few dreams of me being pregnant, and I had a couple dreams actually like of me being a mom, and like you guys obviously don't, if you know me personally, sure, but like I don't really want kids, and like not like for me it's not like a sign or anything when I do dream those, but it's just like
Mhm.
bizarre because it's not really a desire of mine. So it's weird to me when I do dream them. And I had a dream just last week actually of like Keaton and I, like we had a kid, and this kid was like I think like 3 years old or something. And
Wow.
like we were like older, like it wasn't like us now, but
Oh.
it was just so weird, and I don't really remember the dream as much. I just remember because he asked me about it. I was like, I don't know. I just know like we were happy and like a family. Like that's literally all I remember from that
Aw,
dream.
sweet. But
Like that's
also,
all I remember. What?
okay,
What?
you said something right now, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't do that. I am always me, my age, my like self in my dreams.
Current.
Yeah, current me, current present, current hair color. I've
Yeah.
never had like a dream where it's like, oh, I'm dreaming, but I'm 35. Like, no, it's never been a thing.
Okay, can I please tell you a dream that I had? And I wrote it down in my notes, and it's
Yeah.
just as confusing as it gets because I don't even understand. Like, I'm genuinely so confused. It's not even a paragraph. It's like 3, 4 sentences, and it's the most confusing dream I've ever had.
Okay.
And even writing
So,
this down, it's
so when did you give me context? Like, when was
okay.
this written?
So this was this year,
Okay,
and it was January 21st, 2022, and I wrote
cool.
it at 10:10 a.m. It says, and
So was this like right when you woke up? You wrote it down?
yeah.
Okay.
And I think I kind of just the way I wrote it is literally probably the only way I could because it makes no sense. So when you're saying you only dream when you're your present self, which
Mhm.
makes the most sense. Like I've had that more often, but it's really not rare for me to be older in a
Hmm.
way. And I also have dreams, like side note, I also have dreams where I feel like it's something that could happen in the future, but it kind of, butterfly effect depends what I
Mm,
do. Because
yeah.
I did have a dream like a month ago of me literally predicting the future like a few hours later. And like I
Cool.
think I might have told you about that, but I'll tell the podcast
Okay.
after this one. But basically this is titled Dream About Time Jumping. So
Ooh.
so so creative, so fun. Anyways, so I'm gonna read you verbatim what it says because I remember having that dream, but it was so bizarre. Okay.
Okay.
Had a dream that I started at 16, and all of a sudden an event would trigger and I would jump into the future. This time I jumped a few years and I was 20. Had the car that I have now, etc. Then I jumped into the future and I was sitting on the couch with some family, and someone next to me said it was 10 years later. So that person told me it was 10 years later and I was 30 years old at the time. And then
Huh.
I looked on my ring finger and there was an indent that I had a wedding band but took it off. I don't
Oh.
know where the ring was. I don't know if I was holding it in my other hand because literally, like, my normal POV, I was just looking at my hand and noticed I had taken the ring off, and it was so weird to me. Like, this was a dream that I can't even comprehend now because it's not even like I was trying to time jump or anything, and I'm not even saying I was traveling into the future. The fact that I just said time jumping is
Yeah.
weird enough. And it was weird to me that I didn't recognize the person next to me. I don't even remember if it was a man, a woman, a child.
Hmm.
Like, I can't remember. And it was so odd to me that they literally looked at me and said, "It's 10 years later." Like,
Okay.
they knew that I was unsure of what year it was.
Have you read the book, um, Time Traveler's Wife?
Heard of it.
Okay. Have you seen the movie?
No.
Don't watch the movie, read the book. Um,
Okay.
basically, I'll give you the overall plot, but I won't like give you like all the details because I
Okay.
do want you to read it. It's a really good book. Um, but basically, the one of the main characters, it kind of has that. Like it's like a disease essentially, where
Mhm.
they don't have control over when they jump, but it just something happens, an event triggers it, and they jump, and they are themselves at a different age, in the order of like, here's the future, how things work. They just go beep, beep, boop, backwards and forwards with no control.
Yikes.
And it tells it from the point of view of this person who jumps, but also like the main love interest who meets this person when they're 35, when they're 6 years old, meets them when they're whatever age. Like he just keeps bebobbing back and forth. And so in some chapters, like she talks about like, oh yeah, like my friend from the neighborhood came by and dropped flowers off for me, and she's like 6 years old, and it's like, oh, this man at the bookstore did whatever, and eventually like she gets old enough to kind of figure out that this is the same person, and sometimes
Mhm.
will have to like she'll catch him like he just landed, right, and she will have to be like, it's 1999, it's May, this is who the president is, to like get him in the sense of like, where the fuck did I just land? Because he doesn't know, he doesn't have control over it.
Mhm.
So once you said like the person kind of knows like, oh, Kayla doesn't know where she is right now. Like you might have just like popped in and they were like, oh, she's back. Hey, this is what year it is. Come back
Mhm.
with the family, like that's kind of the vibe that I got. But it's a really good book.
Hmm. Yeah, because I haven't that's the first time I've ever had a dream like that. Have never had one since, and it was so weird, like, especially the ending of it, just, like, the attention to detail that I had to look at my finger and notice that something was missing, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing that there is an indent that I had a wedding band, and I don't wear rings, like, really
Yeah.
ever, and so it was bizarre to me. So I was thinking, like, the reason, I wonder if someone might have took it, or maybe I um I don't know, like I had it and the last time jump or something, and I put it somewhere so I didn't forget because these things keep happening and whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. Like, I didn't really know, and it was also crazy to me that I started at 16 years old, and the fact is, like, I don't even remember the event that took place that triggered me into being my present self,
Mm-hmm.
and just I don't know, like, it was so weird to me, and I don't know, like, that's why, like, dreams are so odd to me. Like, why did the movie people think that was a good idea? Like, and I
You know,
hope that isn't predicting the future in any way.
well, I wonder, like, going back to your like dreams are glimpses into the future, butterfly, of like, if I do XYZ. Like,
Mhm.
I think a lot of times people have like oh, like if I just would have made this choice differently, this would have gone this way. Or, oh, if I hadn't
Mhm.
fallen in love with this person, had kids with this person, like what would I be doing right now? And like, I know you say like you don't want kids, you don't want whatever. But like maybe that was like a like you were being so cute about it. Like, oh, maybe I put my ring somewhere so I didn't forget it. I was like, oh my gosh, she took it off. She's seeing another man, or oh
Oh
my gosh,
no.
like she's in a fight with her spouse, or she doesn't know if she wants to get married. It's an engagement ring and she's overthinking it. Like I'm going super dramatic.
Oh yeah.
But I
Expanding the plot line.
oh, for sure. My thing though is when, and I don't know if you'll remember this because it was a minute ago, but did you like what was the feeling you had? Like, were you just confused? Was it like, oh my gosh, I'm missing something? Was it like, oh, like cool, that's not there? Like, like, and especially when you were jumping, like, were you just confused the whole fucking time? Or you were like, I'm 16, I'm happy, I'm 20, I'm sad, I'm whatever, I'm mad. Like,
I feel like I wasn't really confused until the end, which is
okay.
why that person, like, they told me that it was 10 years later,
Mhm.
which, like, I don't know. Because the thing is, when I was 16, I don't know if I was like in school, like at my school or something, but like 16 and my current age, like I felt familiar with it. And the fact that I had the same card that I do now, that like
Mhm.
that one was pretty accurate. So those ones felt more familiar to me, felt more up to date. And I was like, I just don't know what's going on, I guess. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really get confused until the very end. But as soon as I woke up, like I wrote this down because it was the weirdest dream I've ever encountered. And like since we were talking about like predicting the future, I wanted to tell the podcast a dream that I had.
Oh,
And
yes,
this
yes.
one, I feel like I really might have told you because like you've talked about it
Maybe.
in one of our podcasts too, where like you've
Mhm.
dreamt things or thought of things and they ended up happening.
Yeah.
So this one was April 5th, 2022. I wrote this one at 10:25 in the morning. So as soon as I woke up, grabbed my phone, because it really was strange. And I had a very, very realistic dream that Keaton was throwing up next to me. And like I could hear it, and it was the same look of the room as if I opened my eyes. So like everything was
Mhm.
as it is.
Yeah,
And
no
when I
budget cuts this time.
yeah, no budget cuts. Like they had it right. Like they had a big budget for this project. And the lighting even in the room was like accurate. Like it was bright outside but still like not as bright in the room. Like it was so like everything was the same. And I was so tired in the dream that I could like barely talk. Like I had just woken up and I was like, what the frick is going on? And he just kept going back to throw up. And at first he was um like literally sitting on the floor, like throwing up in the trash bin. And
Okay.
that's when I like looked over and, I was like, what is going on? And so I woke up, like it was such a short dream. I woke up
Mhm.
and I like literally as soon as I woke up, I started looking around the room because I was like, oh my God, he was throwing up. And like I had, fully taken in my surroundings. I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is happening. So I like sat up, I'm like looking around the room, looking for the puke and like the trash. And because I thought maybe he threw up on the floor. And
Uh-huh.
as I got up from the bed, I was so careful where I was stepping because I really didn't know if there was vomit on the floor or not.
Yeah.
Like that's how real it was. Like I really,
Ew.
really thought it was happening. So I like looked around and I realized that Keaton's not even in the room. So I was like, hey, wait, he's in the bathroom. Like he's throwing up in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I come out to the living room and he's just like sitting here in the living room, like literally just like hanging out.
Just
Um
chilling.
and yeah, I think he was like sitting on the floor over here because he was doing like his workouts.
Mhm.
And I was like, did you puke? Like like did you throw up? And he was like, no, like
Mhm.
no, I didn't. And I was like, what the hell? And I was so confused because I literally remember just standing here and just staring at him because I'm like, I heard you and I saw you. Like you were throwing up. And then just a few hours later, I I literally heard him throwing up. And I was like half asleep. And now I'm reading the end of this note. I wrote this at 10 in the morning, but it seems like this dream was like at 6 in the morning. So I think
Mhm.
I originally woke up at like 6 or 7 a.m. and then I went back to bed. So I was still in that like groggy, like what is going on?
Yeah.
So I woke up at 10 a.m. hearing him throwing up and in the bathroom. And I woke up and I said, did you puke? Did you just throw up? And he was like, wait, how did you know? And I was like, I heard you. And I didn't even tell him about the dream. But later he got into bed and I was like, remember when I asked you like really early this morning if you puked? And he was like, oh yeah. And I was like,
Ooh.
yeah. I was like, that was a really odd because I vividly remember you puking and throwing up and I went to check on you as soon as possible and you were totally fine. And then I decided to go back to bed because you were good. And then I wake up because I feel like I heard you throwing up and you were. And it was just so weird. Like
Huh.
I've never really had a dream like that and it's so slim, but the fact that I asked him and had a dream of him getting like sick and throwing up and a few hours later that happened and I even
Yeah.
asked him like, is it something you ate? He was like, I don't know. He's like, it just came out of nowhere. He was like, I just started feeling sick all of a sudden. So I was like, "Ugh." Like
Mm.
it was just so
You just
weird. And
manifested it.
I guess, oh my gosh, I just thought it was so real. And I was just taken aback by it because I was like, okay, there's no throw up on the floor. He said he didn't throw up. Like, who's puking near me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so like, what is going on? Like, I'm lost. But it's just, I don't know. I guess it just shows like how maybe like how in tune you are with
Mhm.
the world, yourself, and like what your dreams can do.
Yeah, and I think it
Um,
goes back to what you were saying earlier about like energy that's around
mhm,
you and kind of like what you
mhm,
take with you like when you're falling asleep and whoever whatever is making your dreams.
mhm.
Um because like that could have been something as simple as like you heard him cough weird or like you
Yeah.
knew that something in the fridge wasn't quite right or like it could have been anything that like
I'm like,
triggered
the
that, you
eggs
know?
are bad.
Exactly. Don't drink the milk.
Right.
But yeah, like it literally could have been any little thing that you took with you that like made your brain kind of fall down that rabbit hole. And then you wake up and you're like, wait a second, that felt so real that you're like projecting this energy back out of your head into the universe. The universe
Mhm.
is like, I got you, sis.
Right, I'm
Watch
like,
this.
puke, make him throw up.
Puke.
Which, if that's the case, I'm so sorry. But
Sorry, Keaton.
it was just really crazy. Oh my
Jeez.
god, and I haven't had like one like that since. But
Huh.
that I feel like that enough just shows how weird my dreams are, and just knowing I don't know, with all the dreams that I've had, like I really wish I just had a normal dream, just like one night. Just like a
Good question.
very yes. I have an answer.
Hopefully. Also I agree. Yes, I would just like a normal dream where I'm just like shopping in Target and I buy a bunch of stuff. That'd be cool.
Oh, I would
Script
love that.
writers, take note. But my question is when we're talking about like how real your dreams are, as we're telling these stories back and I'm like thinking through it, the one thing that never carries through for me in my dream is sense of smell. Like, I can't tell you a single
Hmm.
dream where, like, oh, Keaton was throwing up and I smelled the throw up.
Huh.
Like that never carries through. And I don't know if it's just because like I have a really poor sense of smell to begin with. Like,
You
guys,
do.
honestly, if the stove was
You
on,
do.
I would die. I cannot smell shit.
Gasoline, we don't know
Gas, it's
her.
like I can't smell things. So a part of me is just like, oh, it's my weakest one. The writers just don't think it's that important. They're not gonna throw it in the
Right.
plot line. But I can't think of a single dream where it's like sense smell like played a really crucial role. Like I've never had anything like be on fire and I've smelled smoke. I've never been like
Mhm.
hugging my mom and smelled perfume. Like I can't sense of smell never carries through.
Yeah, actually like thinking about it, I'm like trying to see if I have anything in my notes, but like I don't even like see anything because yeah, I don't see anything on my notes that are talking about smell, or I don't remember having any dream where like, yeah, I walked into the room and it smelled really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I have, but I guess it's not that significant in my dreams. For me, it's really just what I see, what I hear.
Okay.
I've tasted before. Um, but smell, I don't know. I don't think so. Cause yeah, I don't, that's a really good point. I'm speechless. I'm dumbfounded.
I I don't know.
No words.
I also don't
Yeah.
think that I've ever been like eating something in a dream. Like you just said
Oh,
taste, and I was like, can't
I
relate.
I definitely have.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Like
Sometimes I
gross or
will.
like good?
Oh no, good food.
Oh.
Like, especially, I feel like that really only happens like when I'm really like craving something.
Mm.
You know, I'm like, my
Like I
mom's
dreamt of chocolate
cooking.
ice cream last night.
Yeah, I'm like a souffle. Like I was so yummy. I can't wait, like that. I feel like that's more in my lane. So
Huh.
I feel like that really only happens when I'm craving something.
Okay. But that's always like we say craving, like you know what it tastes like already.
Oh, that's true. Because I can't like I don't think I've ever like made up a taste. I
Yeah.
don't know
That's
what it tastes
also
like.
something to think about because like hearing, like you could hear something in your dream that you don't, really, you're like, oh, I don't know what that was. You know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
see something where it's like a figure. No, I don't know what that was. And like maybe part of it is just like, oh, I watched it somewhere in a show, or like I thought about it one time and they're like pulling tiny little fragments from your subconscious. But like
Mhm.
I feel like smell and taste are so unique and so strong, like from a biological level, that it's hard for your brain or the writers, whatever does it, to like plug those in for you.
Hmm. Interesting piece.
I don't
That
know.
yeah, that's something to think about.
Let us
Let us
know
know
in
in
the
the
comments,
comments.
guys.
Oh,
Yeah, literally. Let us know in the comments. Have you ever smelt something in your dream, tasted something? Let us know. What was it? Popcorn? Puke?
right. Let us know. Because the thing is like, especially with like touch, like I feel like touch is like very easy to do. Cuz like
Mm-hmm.
have you heard the thing where no matter what you're looking at, no matter if you've actually done it, but like you know what it'll feel like on your tongue.
Yep. You know what it would
Like
be like
a
to lick
little,
it.
and it's like yes, which is so like I'm like looking at things around my room. I'm like, actually, yeah. Like
But I think that's like a note, like to me, that's not that crazy because like you are just touching something with your tongue. Like for me, it would be like, oh, I know what my mic would feel like from with my finger versus if I touch it with my knee. Like it's gonna feel the
oh
same. I'm still
yeah, yeah, yeah,
touching
yeah.
it with a
No,
body
I
part.
got you.
Like it would be weird if it was like, oh, I know what it would like, what everything would taste like. Because that's what your tongue is
Oh yeah,
for.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't tell you that. I could guess based on like, oh, that's metal, and metal normally tastes like this. Paper normally
Mm-hmm.
tastes like this. Like, but you know what I mean?
It's
I feel
not
like the touch
exact.
thing
It's just an
isn't that
educated
crazy.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. You're right. What a dumb point. Sorry.
Stinking Twitter threads. Read
God,
your
sorry.
textbooks.
I know. But like I, uh, now it's like making me wonder, like now I feel like I really have to pay attention if any of my dreams I smell anything, because your nostrils are still, you're breathing, like your lungs, they're still active while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
You don't see anything, you kind of tune everything out when you sleep, so I understand that, just being able to pick up in your dreams, but like
Hmm.
smell is always active. And so I feel like anything
Oh.
that's around you is just what's going to carry on to your dreams. Like the scent of the room is probably what, like, the aroma is going to be in,
Yeah.
dreamland, because I think it's the same thing where when you're kind of awake and you start hearing things around you, that goes into your dream. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you hear your alarm going off and you see it in your dream, and it's like you're like, I've had dreams where my alarm goes off and it looks like I'm getting a phone call and I keep trying to answer it and it doesn't work. And
Mm.
then I I actually wake up and then I'm like, oh wait, like that's in reality, not
Yeah.
dreamland anymore. So I feel as if they're probably the same, that it's just what's carrying in from reality to the dream. Because
No,
if
I
you have cookies baking in the oven and you take a nap, you might be like smelling that smelling that
no,
in your dream.
exactly. I think that completely makes sense. And I again, like going back to like biology, like I wonder if it's like a survival thing because you're right. Like your nose is active, you're breathing in, like you're
Mhm.
constantly taking in that like sensory whatever and having to process
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because if your house freaking catches on fire when you're asleep, obviously your brain's gonna be like, wake the fuck up, fire,
Yeah, like you
fire.
smell
Like
folk. You smell folk. I was gonna say fire and
fire,
smoke.
smoke, folk.
Folk, yeah, the folk.
Um, yeah, so like you still like have to be able to like
Mhm.
process that, which is isn't that also crazy to think about that we are like on do not disturb like with our bodily functions,
Right.
but like there's still stuff working in the background. Like, yeah, obviously, like you're still gonna breathe, but like your digestion slows down, you're like it all
Mhm.
kind of goes into
Your
rest
heart
mode,
rate slows down.
your sense of breathing, but your sniffer is just like gotta
She's
stay awake.
always alert. Yeah, like a freaking like guard dog or something. It's just
Hmm.
like a bodyguard. Because that really is the only thing that I feel like is just 24/7. Because you're right. If there's a life or death
Uh-huh.
situation, you do want to be able to smell if there's a gas leak. She's going. Oh, she's so far. She's far. She is like
The
20
balloon
miles
has
away.
left the atmosphere.
Dude, at this point, you
Guys, the
said
fact that
something and it triggered something and that's gone.
the fact that Kayla, for those of you who aren't watching the video version of this, was just holding her head, trying to keep it from disappearing, was the
Like trying
cutest
to
thing
ground
ever.
it again. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
please come back. Please come back. Bro,
Tea.
what did you even say? Like,
Would you ever dream journal? I mean, I think you do a little bit like here and there in your notes
yeah.
app, but would you ever like this is a serious practice. I'm going to seriously wake up and try to recall because I've heard people say that by doing that like they have stronger memory recall of their dreams. Like again, it's a muscle you
Yeah.
exercise. I just like I honestly don't know if I would want to kind of again going back to like the beginning of this episode where we were talking about some of the dreams I've had. Like I like it's scary. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
really want to like remember every aspect. Like I kind of am in the boat of like, it happened in my head. Let's just tuck it back in a filing cabinet, never to be seen again. Like let's not manifest it into paper. But I know some
Yeah.
people really swear by it.
I mean, I do it as often as I can. Like if I dream something, I'm like, wow, that was weird. Like usually my dreams are weird, so that might not have any importance. Like I really just might be like, okay, that was weird and irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna think about it anymore. But if there is something just like, I don't know, if chapter one is just so off-putting for whatever reason, I'll probably write down my dream, but sometimes I just don't because they're not that crazy, but they're like if I don't know. Like I usually try to, if there is something in it that's like pulling me to write it down,
Got
but
it.
it's more likely not that I would write it down, or else I would have way too many notes in my notes app. So it really
Plus,
depends.
plus here's my thing. I kind of see like the concept of a dream journal like a diary. I don't want someone finding that ish without my
Yeah,
permission.
no.
Like, I will get
Mm.
sent again to the psych ward. Like, no, we're not trying to go there.
Right.
Um, yeah,
I agree.
I would never. I don't think I could ever do it. I did have two other thoughts that came up when you were talking about that again because I was like, huh, she said that way, and that's not how my experience has been.
Mhm.
One, do you have dreams that are like chapters? Like, oh, the dream I had on Tuesday corresponds with the dream I had on Friday. Like, I don't think I've had dreams that like pick back up where the other one left off. And if I like wake up and then go back to sleep, I can't jump back into my dream. Like, it's gone the second I'm awake.
In the same day, yeah, like if I don't know. Like I feel like it's not very common for me, but I am able to jump back into my dreams sometimes if I really focus on it. But that I feel like that would be just because it was such a nice dream to have that I'm like, oh, that was nice. Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna go back to it.
exactly.
But it's one, I don't care that much to put that effort in. And two, I don't really have dreams that correspond with each other that are on different days. But I think it might have happened to me no more than 3 times, but it's almost like a replay of that same dream, but and then it, like, continues on. But like I said, that's probably only happened, like, literally a few times, and that's
Got
it.
it. Okay, you just literally brought up my next point. I've never had like a recurring dream. Like I know some people are like, I have this like reoccurring nightmare, like my teeth keep falling out. It's the exact same
Mhm.
dream. I've never had that. And I think the second that started, like I would check myself in. Like that would drive me nuts.
Yeah, I guess maybe reoccurring theme of some sort, like the teeth falling out. I've definitely had dreams like that because I don't know why that's like terrifying to me. Like I feel like that one's kind of a fear of mine to just like lose my teeth and not even just like have it one knocked out or something, but just my teeth just randomly falling out. I feel like it's terrifying because you only get one set of teeth. So
Don't fuck it
um
up.
yeah, I'm like in my dream, someone could buzz it all off. It's like, okay, it's gonna grow back. I don't really care.
Hmm.
But like that sort of thing, yeah. But I've never had a reoccurring nightmare. Nightmares, like I'll have paranormal dreams of like demons trying to attack me, but it's not the same room, the same thing that they're doing to taunt me or whatever. Nothing is a replica of the other. They're
Got it.
all unique.
Yeah, and honestly, I consider that a blessing because, like, that is
Yeah.
terrifying. And I know some people say that, like, that might be linked to like PTSD or like really strong
Yeah, it might.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Um, I think the teeth falling out one is also an anxiety thing. Just FYI, maybe Google that
Mhm.
teeth falling out meaning
Yeah,
thing.
teeth falling out.
Um, but yeah, I think that that's one of the things that I consider myself really lucky to never have
Mhm.
experienced because like let's not have like recurring dreams of scary dream Christian. Like
Yeah,
let's not
right.
do that.
I think he had a reoccurring nightmare. I don't know, or was it someone? I swear it was him. I'm gonna have to ask him about it.
You
But
should.
I think he had a reoccurring dream about like a girl like with like really dark hair. And like
The
it was a
ring.
nightmare. Right, no, exactly. Like I mean that's like everyone. I feel like if anyone's gonna be like scared, it's a girl who has like all her hair in front is wearing a white dress. It's always a white
Yeah.
dress.
Always awake.
Um Right. And so I think he had a reoccurring dream of that. I will double check, and if not, you guys will never hear this again. But yeah, I like that's terrifying, especially if it's a nightmare, but also if it was a regular dream of an event or something,
Hmm.
that would trip me out because I'd be scared of like, what if this is gonna happen and this is why I keep getting it? So
I think even just like the Groundhog Day scenario,
no,
terrifying.
I don't like
Happy
that.
Death Day, terrifying.
I'm
Like
no
I do
canceled.
not want to be consciously repeating the exact same chain of
Yeah, I'm
events
okay.
ever.
I'm okay, universe. Thank you. Yeah, that's okay.
Thanks.
Just putting it out there. I'm fine. Thank you, though.
Cool.
No, I don't want the premium package. Thank you.
No, we're good.
We're good. We're
Um,
okay.
cool. So last question, and it's not super deep. It didn't come from like anything mystical or magical or spiritual. It just kind of like I thought it was weird. We say
Mhm.
like, oh, I had, I had this dream, or I keep having this dream, and
Mhm.
it's in your head. It's like a fictitious thing that happens. It's not based in reality. It's not based
Mhm.
in anything you're doing. But then we also say like, oh, my lifelong dream is to go to Hawaii, or my dream is to become a
Mm.
professional athlete. Like we use the
Yeah.
same word to
Mhm.
explain what in my head are two different things. Like I don't understand why we use the term dream to be synonymous with like my goal is. But I
Yeah.
wonder if that's because like for some people like the goal is so like vivid or fictional or so far away that like it almost
Mhm.
is like
It's like
dream
fantasy
centric.
land.
Yeah, I just don't know like why
Um,
we throw it around so much.
Yeah. You're right, because I didn't think about that because they definitely are used in two different ways. I guess it's used in this and like they use the same word just because like the dreams that we do have, they're not reality. And then the dreams
Mhm.
that you do want to obtain one day are not reality. So like they both kind of just live in your head.
Yeah.
So, I it's safe to assume that's why they use it, but it was a good point to bring up because I didn't think about it,
Yeah.
because it's like also the English language is just so weird.
It's
I wonder
awful.
I wonder if like other languages have different words for dreams.
Probably. I also like going back to like the origin of like the word dream and like how those connotations got like mushed to mean the same thing. Is I
Mhm.
wonder if someone was like, oh my gosh, I had this dream that I was a famous farmer. Like I think my goal in life now, like the spirits are talking to me. I have to be a famous farmer. Like I wonder
Mhm.
if like someone took like a dream they were getting to mean that like this
Oh,
is my
like
calling in life
literally.
and
Yeah.
then morphed that into like their lifelong goal. And then the lines
Hmm.
just got blurred.
Right, and they're like, "We don't even know what it is anymore."
Yeah,
It's
don't
both.
know.
Well, I always like, whatever. Anyways, sorry. That was
Gail said, I always actually that thought was stupid. Recant. Stop.
no,
It's strike it from the record.
literally
It's
that.
gone.
Oh my god, that happens way too often, yeah. Sorry, guys. It's not coming. It's not gonna be here, thank you.
But anyway, I just think the history of words and where they come from is really interesting, especially when you talk about like a word like dream that, obviously from everything we just talked about could literally mean anything. We don't even fully know what it means,
Mhm.
but we use it in almost everyday conversation about our goals,
Mhm.
which are it's so different in my head. So I don't know. I think it's really
Mhm.
interesting.
So, as you guys can tell, we have a lot of thoughts, comments, and theories about the dream universe, what dreams are, how people dream, how we dream, and it's all very interesting. So, if you guys actually want to interact with us and you follow us on Instagram, you could leave a DM for us and tell us what your weirdest dream is, your scariest one. And also, I don't know if you guys have answers to like anything that we were asking throughout this, and you guys are like, you guys are so stupid. That's not correct. Here's the sites and the facts. Then you can send it because we definitely need that. But comment down below if you're on YouTube. And
And
final thoughts.
And I think that's it for this one. I'm excited to see. I actually hope some of you educate us in the comments because
Yeah,
obviously Kayla and I have no idea what's going on.
yeah,
So
yeah.
looking forward to your participation for once, our loyal audience. Kayla putting on her thinking cap, literally holding in the thoughts.
Right. Don't escape. Oh my god.
I don't like the
I
face you just made. Sorry, it was like you put on your thinking cap, and the first thought was like, oh, that's scary. We're not doing that.
Oh my goodness, what was I gonna say? So also let us know if no, okay, hang on. Also let us know if you guys thought this podcast was entertaining. It was a little bit different. I just thought it'd be super fun to choose a topic and just talk about it. And clearly, Jenna and I had a lot of concerns. So, if you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, let us know if you have any suggestions for topics, perhaps. And we have a lot of good stuff coming up and planned for two broads. We promise we're not going to leave on another hiatus for a third time. Fingers crossed.
That's what we said
And
last time.
yeah, that's what we said last time. Sorry. But to close this out, you guys already know. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. And we will see you guys in the next pod.
Bye.
See ya.
Yay. Bye, bye,
Yay.
bye.
Okay. We're fine. Okay.